It's undisputable evidence that shows that, hey, this man was unarmed and you killed this guy in the middle of the street. And not only did you kill him in the middle of the street, you left him there for 4 minutes before anyone responded to give him any medical attention.
No, but a cop has the right to shoot down whoever he wants and he gets set free. So a life has the same value as an animal.
Wow.
It's your girl CoCoLaRa's here, and I'm here with Tony Reds, aka Mr. 24/7. How are you doing tonight?
Turned up. That's how I'm doing.
We about to turn up for y'all people. I got some good questions
tonight. Let's get it going, baby. I'm ready. Let's go. You got fun.
So if you don't know who Tony Reds is, then you must live under a rock, because he is an on-air personality for WPGC. He's also part of the go-go band TCB, and then he does a lot of community outreach. So I just want to know how you transition from going from a street jockey to being an on-air personality. Like, tell me a little bit about that.
It's really the same. It's just that when you think on air and street jock, basically I'm touching the masses so people get to see me when I'm out in the community. And all I'm doing is when I'm in the studio, I'm bringing theater to life on the radio. So it's like, oh, I know him, and then when they listen to me on the radio, like, oh, he's wild. I can understand. Well, yeah, he's probably doing X, Y, and Z right now. So the transition was really easy from being a street jock to going to the radio, because you're actually doing what an actual jock does, just out in the street.
So in the industry that's constantly changing, how do you manage to succeed? Like, how did you become so successful in this business?
Well, you gotta reinvent yourself. Okay, it's just like anything. Like, when the times change, I kept my ear to the street. I always, stay around young people. I stay around people my age, so I can see what's going on, so I can transition to whatever is new. But I cater it to what I do. You know what I'm saying? And I always try to feel like I gotta put life to something. You know what I mean? Because I'm full of life. You know what I mean? So it's all about reinventing yourself.
So I know you love music, and I just want to know, who were some of your inspirations growing up?
Oh my goodness! Well, I had a father that was crazy. He would play that Al Green, Earth, Wind and Fire, Smokey Robinson, and then I had my aunts that was into Michael Jacksons and the Barges and all that. And I had my own turn up, like I was with the Run DMCs and all that other good stuff. So I would listen to different kind of music. So I would have a wide range, like a jargon of like what I like. And it's like, hey, I could deal with the old school, the new school, no school rule. Start rapping, baby.
So what is something the viewers don't get to see, or the listeners don't get to really see? Because for me, I just see like a lot of the glitz and the glams of it. Like, he's at an event, he's working with celebrities. But what work has to go into what you do?
But the preparation, with anything you have to, I look at the 5 P's of success. You always got to properly plan so you have poor performance. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I have to do a lot. Like, when I come into something, I got to prepare for it. Like, so when I get to the studio, I got to pull stories, I got to pull networks, I got to pull songs, I got to pull different things that I feel like, hey, my listeners gonna be able to say, oh man, wow, I didn't know about that, or oh wow, that entertainment happened over there, or wow, he was over there. Like, I got to be new, I got to be exciting. It always got to be refreshing.
So I know you took over the DMV spotlight, and I just want to know, what type of music or what type of artists do you target? How do you decide, like, hey, I'm going to showcase that person's talent?
Basically, I don't. What I do is I let people, a lot of people come and they hit me and say, oh, I told them to play this place that. I leave it open. I want R&B, I want poetry, I want rap, I want hip hop, I want it all, because that's what the DMV spotlight is. Because if you look at DC as a whole, people come from all around the world because the government is here.
Yeah. So
you have a melting pot of New York, Atlanta, so you got South, Midwest, all over the world. So you got different jargons of music, but you also have the base of the music here. So I kind of leave the spotlight open for everybody, and I try to give them a plateau to shine. You know what I'm saying?
How did you get into the go-go scene?
Well, growing up in the hood, and you got a musical background, you can't afford no drum set.
Yeah.
So basically what you did, you took some buckets, you took your grandmama pots, and you banging on, and you banging, and next thing you know, you hear the go-go's. Like, I was too young to go see the junkyards and the rare S's and all that, so we made our own band. And our first band was Young Production. We didn't even have no real equipment. We was like Junkyard. I think we really had a real bass drum and a keyboard. It was a Casio. And we just used to make our own music. And then we started performing, and we got a manager that had money. And he started putting money into us. Al Jones, shout out to Al Jones. And we started putting money into us, and he really introduced us to Backyard. We started opening up for Backyard. It went there. But it started at the grandmother's backyard. Then my man Bobby house, and next thing you know, we was doing house parties and we just kept it moving. So a lot of people don't know. Young Production went to OP Tribe, and OP Tribe went to Listen. Optimistic Tribe just listen back.
Wow.
Well, a lot of members from Listen. But, yeah.
Something that I didn't know.
Gave you some knowledge.
Yeah, something that I didn't know.
Right.
So switching it up, like I said, you do a lot of community outreach for people that don't know. He's just not on the radio.
No, I just don't turn up all the time. I like to help people.
Yeah, he likes to actually give back to people, which is always a great thing, especially people in the community.
Right.
So I wanted to know, like, why I get involved and give back to people.
Because when I was young, growing up in the streets, I had lost my way a lot. You know what I'm saying? And I had people that I was surrounded with that say, you're not gonna go down that path. And when I got in a little trouble with the law, they introduced me to the Mayor's Youth Leadership Institute. That's why I shot the Marion gave me my first job. Thank you. And I went to the Mayor's Youth Leadership Institute, and they helped me help myself. They showed me about team building. They showed me like icebreakers. They showed me about helping me help myself. So I feel like I want to do the same to someone else. You know what I mean? I think that's my due diligence in this business. So that's what I do.
Speaking of the great late Marion, a lot of people had negative comments bringing up his substance abuse issues. And in honor of his legacy, I just wanted to know, could you say a few kind words, because I feel like a lot of people focused on the negative in his life versus the positive and a lot of the things he did for the people in DC.
People are very shallow, and people like to look at the negativity anybody does, not let alone Marion. I don't care anybody does. Yeah. If I go out here and do something wrong, they're not gonna talk about, oh, Tony Reyes helped this person, or oh, Tony Reyes helped somebody get a job or get off the streets or anything. They're gonna talk about what I did, and they're gonna highlight that. People just like negativity. You know what I'm saying? So when you think about Marion Burgess, Marion Burgess walk around with $100 in his pocket, and he had it all in $5 bills. And he wouldn't tell nobody. He would walk around with it in his pocket. The reason I know this is I used to work with the man. You know what I'm saying? Not work like directly with him, but in his leadership institute. And he would walk around with $100 and $5 bills because he would help people on the street. Because sometimes people would coming home from jail, they don't have nothing to eat, and they're like, "Man, bro, I'm hungry, I don't got nothing to eat." And he'll go in his pocket. He don't want to do it for no media or nothing. He'll fold it up and just put it in his hand and say, "Bro, go get something to eat." Wow. And it's $5, not $1. He would give out $5, and he said he had to stop walking around with money because he used to give out all his money. So it's like, oh, he had tax evasion, this, that, and the other. Marion Barry was really broke because he would give the community back his money. He fed a lot of people. He cut people. He utility bills, rent. He did it all. So when you look at if you look at a kind man, that was a kind man. So regardless of what anybody else said about him, they didn't know him. And when you don't know somebody, you make an assumption. And when you make an assumption, you make an ass out of yourself.
Yes.
And I feel that's how a lot of people do it. So until you know somebody, stop judging people. That's one thing I don't judge anybody. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, I ain't God.
Exactly. And you don't know anybody's struggle. We caught up with you during the actual verdict of the Mike Brown case, which was crazy just to see you in action, because it was a crazy night. So I wanted to get your opinion on it. Like, how does it feel like a week later?
Right.
It was crazy.
When you think about murder, I don't think no human life should be taken. No one is God, so I don't think in my hands or anybody's hands you just take a human life. So regardless of what he done, I don't feel like his life should have been taken. Okay, if he was a white man, would they took his life? We don't know. Right. But we see a lot of different scenarios where a cop was assaulted by a white guy. They didn't shoot him; they tased him. So why did they tase Mike Brown? Right. I mean, it's a lot of different scenarios that you think like, why didn't? Regardless of what he did. Strong arm robbery or whatever he was guilty of. Why choose to take his life? Why choose to take Trayvon Martin's life? We have other weapons that can put a human down without taking their lives. So why choose the weapon to take someone's life? You want to play God. So when you look at it like that, I look at it, he's guilty on taking someone's life because you're not God. You see what I'm saying? So when you think it's sad because, a lot of young people I feel are misled by videos and TVs, and then they have younger parents and younger generation like grandmothers are like 35, 40 years old now. So you got to think when you're not taught properly and you're raising yourself, you do what you know best. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like if we knew better, we do better. And I just feel like we have to be more responsible as parents, as big brothers, big sisters, to let someone, if we see somebody doing wrong, you don't have to embarrass them and do it in front of everybody. Pull up to the side and be like, bro, you know that ain't right. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a wrong and a right way to do things. And that's what I do a lot. When I'm in Southeast and I'm in a community, they're like, man, how do you get a hood pass? You don't even live over here. You know, X, Y, and Z. I said, it's because I respect people. And when I approach them, I don't ever approach nobody looking down, I don't care what I have.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, I work hard to get what I have. But at the same time, I can respect the person where they at and meet them where they at and say, hey, brother, that ain't right.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, respect yourself as a human being. You know what I mean? So we can do things the right way. You know what I mean?
Definitely. And I wanted to know, for people like myself or for rappers or singers, what would be some advice you would give to those type of people? Trying to break into an industry that we feel like it's inevitable. Like, how are we supposed to do this without knowing the next person? Like, how can we break into it? What advice would you give?
People don't understand. Like, I feel like now it's easier than ever. Because when I was coming up and I wanted to be a rapper, we didn't have internet. We didn't have that plateau where you can market yourself to millions of people. So I feel like people should be better marketers and understand when you're marketing yourself, put out a good product that somebody would want to listen to. Like, don't just go in the studio and say, hey, I did a one take, it's right and it's rough, I'm going to put it out. Nah, listen to it. And then listen to it again, and then tweak it, and then put out a nice product. When somebody hear that product, like, oh man, they put some work into it. You know what I'm saying? So be a product of what you do. You know what I'm saying? And then market yourself. At the end of the day, you can market. You got too many tools to market yourself. Guerrilla marketing, which is hands-on. Internet marketing, which is Instagram, the Twitters and things of that nature. And on top of that, market yourself as an individual. So that way you become a brand. So when somebody want to sign you, they're not signing that product, they're signing that brand. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely. So do you have any upcoming projects? And then how can people stay in touch with you since you're on the radio most of the time?
Oh boy, man. I mean, social media is it's so crazy. Like, because people can just touch you at any time. That's CoCoLaRa's 247. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter, Facebook as well. And yeah, you can get at me, and I will respond, because that's what I do. And if you want to send me your music, you can send it to Mr. 24/7 WPGC@gmail.com. All right, and I do have a producer, yes, ladies and gentlemen, because I am very busy, and he does select some music, and we listen to it together, and we kind of figure out who's next. And I'm booked on the DMV spotlight, because I'm getting inundated with emails and things of that nature. But keep sending me your projects, because I do listen to them and I do respond.
All right. And I just wanted to say shout out to my blog, www.outlookfresh.blogspot.com. And shout out to the crew, Fresh Deli Inc. Make sure you follow them on Instagram. You can check out any type of reviews at freshdeliyinc.net. And shout out to the camera lady right now. Hey. And thank you, Tony Reyes, for taking the time out to do this for me.
That's why you love
shout out to it. Turn up. We out. See you next time.